Hello class, this is Jenny reporting from Florida. Unfortunately, I was unable to make it back in time for class due to the weather up in the Midwest and all the snowstorms and ice that were through the mountains. But I did want to have the opportunity to participate and give you guys an update on this, the status of our project, and just fill you in on a little bit about our sponsor. While I was down here, I actually got the opportunity to get a little bit more of the inside scoop on human trafficking going on here in Orlando and in the Tampa area. What I want to share with you right now is just some statistics. I created a little video for you just to kind of share the myths and what really goes on in the United States regarding human trafficking, as well as sharing an update with our sponsor. My sponsor sent me an email, and this is what she wanted to just have me share with the class. They did a vote last Sunday and had a special annual meeting that they'll be doing every February, where they voted for the chair, the vice president, and all the different roles for the organization. Through the meeting, they also made some determinations of who was going to be responsible for different roles as they move forward. The best news that I would like to report is they were accepted for filing their 501(c), so they are officially a nonprofit organization recognized by the state of Minnesota as well as the federal government. So that's a great news. Marie Keener, she's the founder and she's the CEO of Destination Freedom. The website again is destinationfreedominc.org. So if you want to check them out, feel free to check out their website. It's got a lot of great information and resources. But here's some words from her that I just like to share. She just says that DFI is working on building committees, which is Destination Freedom, and the areas of focus that they're really starting to look at right now are education, training, advocacy, which would be emergency room advocacy and resources. They want to patrol and look at truck stop and hotel awareness, and they also want to start shelter planning so that we can rescue these girls. I've been in touch with her a lot while I've been down in Florida, just to kind of get an update of what is going on back in Minneapolis, and things are going great. So I'm going to say goodbye for now, but I'll be back in a moment to share about the next video. Thank you.
Myth number 1, prostitution is an act of free will. While interviewing over 600 youths ages 14 to 16 years of age, how many of you have dreamt about being a prostitute? There was not one yes. Prostitution is a crime of profit for the pimps and the traffickers. They use these young people strictly for their own profit by force, abuse, and threats of family harm or death. The young people are forced to sell themselves up for 50 times a day for just basic life needs such as food and shelter, while the pimps collect all the money to keep the young people in labor and in bondage. The average age of entry into prostitution is 12 years old, and most have no way out. Myth number 2, runaway youth are just rebellious. Runaways are youth in crisis. Youth run away for a variety of reasons. Statistics show that first, violence in the home, second, sexual abuse in the home, and third, drug usage in the home, fourth, death and or murder of the caregiver of their home. There is a testimony of an 8-year-old girl in Minnesota that was not allowed to return home after school unless she had drugs or money for her parents. That the only way to obtain this, she was forced to sell herself daily. Every day her life was threatened. She ultimately ran away at the age of 14 years old. She was rescued and has
The next video that you're going to be watching is a clip from the Nefarious video that we showed you at the first class in our first presentation. It goes to Las Vegas and it starts to tell the story of the glamorization of prostitution. but it exposes that, you know, it's a vulnerability, and that these women it wasn't a choice, but that they were worn down and somewhat brainwashed into this lifestyle, and that they need rescuing. A good friend of mine, Annie Lobert, will be sharing her story of how she made it out of prostitution, and I'm excited for you to watch it. So here it is. Thank you.
We saw an entirely new face of this issue, and that is girls drawn into the sex industry by the allure of glamour and prosperity.
I got off the plane and I looked at the strip and I was like, oh my gosh, there's famous people in those casinos. And I want to meet somebody that's a millionaire and I'm going to get married to him and I'm going to take all their money.
And I watched the movie Pretty Woman and I was like, well, gosh, look at her. You know, she's beautiful and she's making money and, you know, she's meeting guys and she fell in love with this guy and she's living in this nice hotel suite and has everything she wants and she's falling in love. Man, I need to become a hoe. That's what I thought. So that's what I did.
To understand the draw of glamorized prostitution, we met with Annie Lobert. Annie spent 16 years as a high-class call girl in Las Vegas.
I sold my body to a Japanese man. So, and it was real easy to do, by the way. People ask me, what did you feel like? Empowered. I felt like, wow, if I can do this with every guy I meet, I'm gonna be a millionaire pretty soon. It was like, woo, Pandora's box, like Lord of the Rings, putting on that ring and just going, oh, power, money, you know. And I thought all my dreams can come true. I can go to college. I always wanted to go to college, couldn't afford it.
No woman is on the streets because she just likes sex and or wants money. This is a system of utter manipulation. It's a system of exploitation, manipulation, threat, violence, but all fundamentally under the fear and deep sense of shame that I have no value.
He knew I was leaving a couple different times and he'd come home and do this, I call it psychopath warfare, to get me to think that he was gonna kill me. Put guns in my mouth, put gun to my head and said, I'm gonna do it, I'm in love with you. He would say, I'm so in love with you. If you leave me, I'll kill myself. And he'd put the gun in my head. And it's like, oh, no, don't kill yourself, I love you. Please don't do it to me. And you know, just the games, the psychological games were just incredible. And you know, when you're in love with someone, you fall for that. And some people say, well, you're stupid. No, really. When you're in it at the time, it makes sense.
You have what's called the Stockholm Syndrome, which implies that a victim can eventually come to identify with her captor when you've been taken captive. And your very survival depends on, in one sense, the care, loosely used, that word, the care of your captor. Then in some ways you bond to that captor, even if they at times literally torture you, violate you, demean your dignity. They're your only source of life.